Cotabato. Tuwing alas 7:30 ng gabi mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes. Tinig Cotabato. Ating pakinggan ang mga tinig ng bawat Cotabateño. Tinig Cotabato.
Assalamualaikum, magandang gabi po sa ating lahat. Andito naman po ang isang episode ng ating programang Tinig Cotabato. Ngayong gabi po, katulad po the other night na wala po tayong guest na kasama, pero ating maririnig, ating mapapakinggan ngayong gabi ang naging kauna-unahang ulat sa bayan ng ating City Mayor Honorable Attorney Francis Cynthia Gianni Sayadi. So kamakailan nga lang po ay naganap po itong kanyang ulat sa bayan kung saan napakinggan po ng mga dumalo doon, katulad ng ating mga business community, nandun din po yung ating kapulisan and representatives from the Philippine Army, from the national government, at saka iba pa po. So talagang jam-pack po yung venue ng kanyang ulat sa bayan dahil gusto nga po nilang marinig at inaabangan po talaga nila kung ano yung mga in-report ng ating city mayor na naging accomplishment na nga ng city government at syempre ang mga plano nito for the future. At ngayong gabi nga, sa lahat po nung hindi nakakinig ng radyo o nakapanood ng TV noong panahon ng kanyang pag-ulat, ay mapapakinggan natin sa kabuuan nito ang kanyang ulat sa bayan. So ngayon po ating pakinggan.
Before anything else, I would like to request everybody to remain standing as we offer a minute of prayer for the repose of the soul of our departed Mayor Chapal J. Gianni Jr. Thank you. Please be seated. It's been 47 days today since I assumed the post of City Mayor after the untimely demise of my brother, Mayor Chapal Gianni Jr. Everything happened so fast that I could not surmise that I would be assuming the duties and responsibilities of this position this early. On the day of my assumption, I remembered what my brother and mentor, Mayor Jojo, told me. As duly elected officials, we are bound to always uphold the interest and welfare of the people of Cotabato City, regardless of the status in life, gender, religious belief, and tribal affiliation. On my first day as your mayor, I was somewhat skeptical if I can meet the expectations of the people of Cotabato City. But knowing the professionalism and the uncontestable level of competence of the officials and employees of the city government of Cotabato at my side, I told myself that we can do it. Added to this are the unwavering support and cooperation of our barangay officials, law enforcement agencies, and other line agencies of our government. Indeed, I was right because in just a very short time, a lot had been accomplished and a lot had been started for the benefit of the people of Cotabato City. In the face of the various challenges and problems that our beloved city is now facing, from the problem of law and order, to traffic congestion, to health and sanitation, to livelihood and employment, among others. During my short stint as your city vice mayor then, I could say that I had started something that would facilitate change in the city. Among these are the deliberations for the amendment of our market code, our local revenue code, and the traffic code. I am confident that the present leadership and membership of the Sangguniang Panglunsod could fast-track the finalization of these amendments so that the economic development agenda of the executive branch could also speed up. Meanwhile, in just 47 days, I could also say that we already have a lot of accomplishment. First in our long list of accomplishment was this establishment and operationalization of the Cotabato City Visitors Information Center located at the old City Hall. This was done in less than a month. This is just the first phase of our plan to rehabilitate and refurbish our old City Hall in order to preserve and enhance its historical and tourism value. We are all aware that our city has a lot of tourism potentials, considering that it is here in Cotabato City that Sharif Muhammad Kabunsuan landed to spread Islam faith in this part of the country. Our city is also the cradle of the Sultanate of Maguindanao and the gateway to Central Mindanao. Thus, our tourism potential is great. This initial achievement could not have been realized if not for our improved revenue collection. At the close of the third quarter of this year, our city has already posted a total current operating income of 632,637,099.51 pesos, or an increase of 17% compared to the same period of last year. Our total operating expenditure third quarter of this year is 439,482,405.31 centavos, or a decrease of 7.5% as compared to the same period of last year. As a result, our city has a net operating income of 193,154,624 as of the end of the third quarter. This, we could say, is more than enough to sustain the delivery of basic services to the people of Cotabato City. In fact, we are confident that by the end of the year, we will be posting an increase in our net operating income by around 15% as compared to last year. Moreover, in 2010, when I first joined the city government as city administrator, our internal revenue allotment was a meager 329 million. It was just enough to support the administrative requirements of the city government. Now, our internal revenue allotment is 672 million, or an increase of 210% 6 years. And because of this, we now have 49 ongoing infrastructure projects in the city, which are all scheduled to be completed on or before the end of the year. All of these are being undertaken by this administration under the City Engineering Office. Among these are the 4 farm-to-market roads located at Barangay Tamuntaka 3, Tamuntaka 4, Tamuntaka 5, and Kalanganan 2. In order to provide potable water to our constituents, we are now implementing the potable water supply expansion project under the Sagana at Ligtas na Tubig para sa Lahat, or the Salintubig program of the national government. A sizable portion of the project cost is funded by the Department of Interior and Local Government. The project implementation is being undertaken with the technical support and cooperation of the Metro Cotabato Water District. Beneficiaries of this project are residents along the East Diversion and Talainged subdivision of Barangay Tamuntaka Mother and Tamuntaka 1, Virgo Urban Poor subdivision in Barangay Rosary Heights 9, Senaida subdivision in Purok Talitay at Barangay Rosary Heights 8, Peña Francia and Federville subdivisions in Barangay Rosary Heights 11. It is our vision that by the middle of 2017, each and every household in Cotabato City will have access to potable water. By doing so, we are confident that we could further decrease, if not eliminate, the incidence of illnesses caused by the lack of potable water supply. Aside from these major infrastructure projects, in a matter of days, we will be completing the construction of the Women's Crisis Center and the Vocation Training Resource Center for persons with disability. The senior citizens, the retirees, will soon be having their own building. Funds for the construction of the Senior Citizen Center will be given by the Office of Senator Miguel Subiri. Likewise, before Christmas, if the weather condition allows, we will be completing the repair and upgrading of the fish section of our mega market. The same thing is true with the ongoing repair of the Cotabato City Police 1 and 2, and after their completion, we will immediately start the construction of additional police outposts to further strengthen our security infrastructure. Also ongoing are the concreting and upgrading of various streets and rehabilitation and concrete reblocking of 9 others. We know that the concreting, repair, and rehabilitation of this road is causing some inconvenience to our motorists. We are appealing for their understanding because we cannot afford to delay the concreting and repair works considering the steadily increasing volume of vehicular traffic in our city brought about by our continuing economic growth. Meanwhile, on the issue of health, we are looking at some long-range programs for health promotion and service delivery. One of these is the establishment of a city hospital. This is in response to the many health services issues and stumbling blocks like insufficient bed capacities of existing hospitals, human resource efficiency, low facility-based deliveries, low-skilled birth attendance, increased coverage of medical and dental consultations and services for the indigents. Another is the establishment of nutrition centers in every clustered barangay health center. This will also serve as a facility for promoting nutrition among children as emergency feeding centers during calamities and disasters. Also, we will soon be establishing a septage processing plant to be undertaken jointly with the Metro Cotabato Water District with the technical support provided by the United States Agency for International Development. This septage facility is the first in the entire country, and it's the first project of Cotabato City that is self-liquidating and can benefit both parties who spend for its establishment. It will also serve as a treatment plan of all the waste that we can declug from the city's septic tanks. This is one of the city government's way of protecting our environment from being polluted by harmful chemicals from waste materials. Soon, we will also be establishing what we call an eco park. This park will be our processing area of our waste. We will start segregating our garbage and process them to make them useful again. And speaking of our environment, I am proud to inform everyone that Cotabato City has now a City Environment and Natural Resources Officer in the person of Engineer Crisanto Saavedra. His expertise on solid waste management and other environmental protection programs makes him fit for this new task. Now that we already have our new and modern hog slaughterhouse and the country's first halal slaughterhouse, we are optimistic that there will be a dramatic increase and improvement in the local meat industry sector. These 2 new modern slaughterhouses are classified as AA. But in the face of the growing demand for halal meat, not only in the domestic market, but also in our neighboring ASEAN nations, we were informed that the National Meat Inspection Service has already approved our proposal to elevate the classification of our halal slaughterhouse from AA to AAA. The NMIS has approved the grant to us in the amount of 30 million so that our halal slaughterhouse will be upgraded into a AAA category. These additional funds will be used for the establishment of a chiller room, a cutting room, a blast freezer, and a cold storage facility for our halal slaughterhouse. Aside from this, another 2 million was granted to us by the NMIS for the purchase of additional equipment for our hog slaughterhouse. By the way, We are happy to inform you that for the past 9 months of this year, there had been no cases of rabies. Though there were a number of incidences of dog and cat bites, but there were no rabies cases. This is due to the massive anti-rabies vaccination we are conducting down to the barangay level. Meanwhile, to further boost the growth of the so-called small and medium enterprises in the city, work is now ongoing for the construction of a mini ice plant at Barangay Kalanganan 2, which will be used by fish pond owners and operators of the 3 barangays of Kalanganan, and funds for this project were provided by the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources. Next to be established is the fish landing facility, also at Kalanganan 2. This will complement the mini ice plant as support infrastructure facility for fisher folks. In order to meet the growing need for food supplies of our city's growing population, the Department of Agriculture has approved the funding for a number of agri-based livelihood projects for our farmers and fisher folks, particularly at Barangay Tamuntakaw 3, 4, and 5, and Kalanganan 2. The livelihood package will include provision of large animals, cattle, and carabao to farmers and fisher folks as alternative source of livelihood, and support our halal slaughterhouse for its livestock requirements. Parallel to this, multi-purpose dryer pavements will be put up at barangays Tamuntaka 2 and 4. The funds for these projects will be downloaded before the end of this month. By the first quarter of 2017, the national government will be downloading the funds for the establishment of a halal feed mill for livestock and aquaculture. The halal feed mill will be located at Barangay Poblacion 1. Not only that, funding for an integrated approach to increase our food production consisting of vegetable production through the gulayan sa barangay, poultry and goat raising, and freshwater fishery have been approved by the national government through the Department of Agriculture. We will be implementing these projects as soon as the funds will be downloaded. We know a lot of work ahead of us. This is in view of our steadily growing population and the rapid growth in the volume of new investments and expansion of economic activities in the city. Just last month, a new mall has opened. This is aside from a number of fast food establishments, beauty clinics, and department stores that has been opened. These new establishments have also resulted in the job generation and employment of some 3,000 of people of Cotabato City. The economic growth we are seeing and experiencing now is, I would say, just the tip of the iceberg. In the months to come, more investors will be coming in. More tourists will be visiting Cotabato City. With these developments, however, we will also experience heavier traffic due to the influx of people coming in the city. I have just been informed that our amended traffic code was already approved by our city council. We have studied this code, added some provisions that are applicable to our present situation, and improved those that can still be implemented. But even before this, we have already exerted efforts in implementing existing ordinances to ease the congestions in our traffic, in our streets, especially during peak hours. I have personally supervised the strict implementation of the one-lane parking policy on our city's one-way streets. I have also ordered the observance of the truck ban during certain hours. Our city sidewalks have also been cleared of illegal vendors to make way for our pedestrian. And so far, with the consistent efforts of our task groups and traffic personnel, I can say that we have made a significant difference. At the bottom line lies the truth that the problem of traffic is partly due to the lack of discipline of our drivers and even our commuting public. That we will always remember that we are all in this together. Each of us has a role to play in traffic management. Your city government can only do so much. You must also be responsible drivers and commuters so that we can further improve our traffic problem. Aside from the heavier traffic flow, we also expect some increase in the volume of crime incidents with our economic development. But due to the immediate preventive actions and alertness of our law enforcement units, especially the Cotabato City Police Office, in the active participation of our barangay officials through the respective Ronda Patrol, we were able to avert attempts of some criminal elements, especially carnappers, hold-uppers, akyat bahay gang, bukas kotse gang, pickpockets, and other similar criminals to have a heyday. As a fast-growing urban center, we know that we will not be spared of this problem. But we were just one step ahead of these criminals, and our law enforcers were prepared for their onslaught. That is why we have posted a downtrend in our crime incidents. The uptrend is only in the number of criminal elements either arrested or neutralized. Special mention is also to the special forces who has given the PNP and the city government a hand in helping solve the criminalities in the city. When I assumed the post of city mayor, together with my sworn duty to uphold the law, I have made it my commitment to intensify our campaign against all forms of criminalities in Cotabato City. As a result, we now have 0 incidents of motorcycle theft, 0 incidents of snatching, 0 incidents of hold-up, 0 incidents of bukas kotse, and 0 incidents of agaw cell phone. This is aside from the 0 incidents of mascot violating the curfew ordinance. It was only during the first 10 days of June that minors were caught violating the curfew. Since then, no more minors are out of their homes by 10 o'clock in the evening. Successfully done with the help of our Christian and Muslim religious neighborhood organizations. Records from the Cotabato City Police Office show that there was a very remarkable decrease in crime incidents between the period of July 1 to November 6 of this year. There is a 21.28% decrease in the occurrence of shooting incidents as compared to the same period of last year. On the so-called focus crimes, there was also a decrease of 15.18% as compared to the same period last year. These are the focus crimes are the so-called murder, homicide, robbery, theft, carnapping, motorcycle theft, physical injury, and rape. Crimes against persons also decreased by 27.21% from a total of 136 for the same period last year, 99 this year. Of the 99, 68 are physical injuries. Wala na masyadong barilan. On our campaign, illegal drugs, nearly 1 million worth of prohibited drugs was confiscated since July 1, 2016. Dozens of drug pushers and traffickers were either arrested or neutralized, and hundreds of drug users have voluntarily surrendered to the police. This is due to the joint PNP-LGU Ronda Patrol that we are conducting every night. As you may have seen on my personal Facebook page, I usually join our city police in going around the city. For the sake of my fellow Cotabateños, my safety is only second to your welfare. You are the reason I am standing here today. And from day one of my being, and now as your mayor, I have made promises that I intended to keep. And today, I can say that I have fulfilled most, if not all of them. I know that our fight drug dealers is still a long way ahead. But as your city mayor, I will do all visitors of Cotabato City. There will be no compromise. There will be no soft hands or kind-heartedness for these criminals. A criminal is a criminal, no matter how small or how big is the crime he has committed. Under the law, he has to be punished. I won't care if we have to build additional prison cells in order to accommodate all the criminals that we will be arresting, even if it entails a lot of money to put up and maintain these detention cells. What is more important to me is the safety, interest, and no amount of money can bring back to life the dead victims of these criminals. No amount of money could restore the damaged lives of the families of the victims of these criminals, especially the victims of illegal drugs. No Cotabateño will be mistreated. No Cotabateño will be abused, either physically, emotionally, or mentally. And I will see to it that justice, equality, respect, and human rights shall always be promoted, preserved, and upheld. Mr. City Mayor, I will be unforgiving and tough in seeing to it that these laws are enforced and followed. Finally, I would like to inform everybody that they have already started the planned computerization of the entire operation of the local government unit. The plan, all operations of the city government down to the barangay level shall be computerized. License, issuance of tax declaration and tax notices, issuance of community tax, health and sanitary clearances, payment of taxes, including submissions of reports and communications, shall be IT-based. Also scheduled in the computerization are the tax mapping, building inspection, garbage collection, health and sanitation, and monitoring, health and sanitation profile and monitoring, traffic management, security and disaster management and response. Ambitious project, but we could not do away with it. In the face of the growing global competition and modernize the way we do things in the city government. This is now the trend and demand of the market, and we have no choice but to respond to this market demand. City in the country who will be fully computerized. In closing, I would like to remind and employees of the city government of Cotabato about our sworn duties and responsibilities as provided under the civil service rules and the Constitution. Parallel to this, I would also like to remind
Ang programang naghahatid ng mga pinakabagong impormasyon at programa ng City